Hey everybody, this is Travis from ThinkKnowLive.Media. I'm joining you here on a rainy, cold second day of January out here in Dallas, Texas. But I want to go ahead and jump into very quickly the reason why you swiped up or why you tapped on the thumbnail. We're answering today a few things about fasting. And so I want to spend the first couple of minutes just talking about how to fast from. But I really want to spend most of my time talking about how you can fast towards something, how you can infuse purpose with your fasting. So just hitting that real quick, there's a couple of things, a few options that we can suggest when it comes on fasting from something. And many of you are familiar with what fasting is in a nutshell. Is usually just what it is you're going to do without something for a particular period of time. Some people will do what's called a total fast, and that means for a period of time they're not going to eat anything or drink anything other than maybe water. And then you have partial fast, and within that there's a few different ways. Partial fast can mean that, you know what, I'm going to go without coffee, Lord forbid, for a period of time, or I'm going to go without meats or sweets or cokes or whatever. And another type of partial fast is what we've come in our generation to call an intermittent fast, where maybe you only eat one meal a day. So those are a few different options. There's also a different kind of one that has nothing to do with food, but it is something you consume, and that's media or social media. So there's a way to do that as well, to where you say, you know what, I'm going to set aside TV or webs, or internet as much as possible. Of course, I know some of y'all work, and that may not be fully possible, but maybe we can eliminate the scrolling, and those are all great ideas when it comes to social media, TV, things of that nature. But and then of course there's one that I forgot when it comes to food. There's a Daniel fast where you can enjoy certain foods but pull away from certain other ones, and I'll leave a link to some resources you can look at for that. But what I really want you to hear today is fasting is not just about starving yourself or just doing without. Yes, you can get some benefit from that, and yes, I believe that it does honor God, but I want to take you to Isaiah 58. And again, we're talking about how you can have an amazing, a gangster type of year, just really begin to crush it. And we talked about prayer yesterday. We're talking about fasting today. We'll talk about something else tomorrow. But I just feel that I wanted to start out these thoughts of how to have your best year ever by getting your spirit right, but by us getting our spirit right. And again, today we're talking about fasting. Mentioned a moment ago a few things to fast from. Let me tell you what it means when I say to fast towards. And this is some language that my family's been using for the last few years. Because there's a question of, well, why are we fasting? And yes, it's to honor God. Yes, it's to get ourselves in alignment with His will. And those things are perfect and primary. That's what it's about. But in what sense? When I say this, when I look at Isaiah 58, you look at the first few verses on that. That's your homework. That's your assignment for tonight, is to read through Isaiah 58 and learn how to fast towards something. Because in Isaiah 58, God is actually challenging His people Israel by saying, guys, I see that you're doing you're doing this by the letter of the law. You're abstaining from certain foods, and whatever it is, you're doing everything on the surface okay, but you're really forgetting why the fast was important from the beginning. And I want to urge you in chapter 58 verses 6, you see God begin to bring a larger perspective as to why fasting is important and what you are to fast towards. Even the famous Daniel of the Daniel fast, was actually fasting towards the restoration of Israel. But let's go back to Isaiah 58:6. He said, isn't this what I'm really wanting from you? Not just abstaining from foods or from social media or whatever else it may be that you're abstaining or pulling away from. He challenges and say, this is what I want you to work towards. This is what I want you to chase in your fast. And what I love is that he starts with breaking people free that are bound up in oppression. How are you going to help someone else during this fast, during this year, as you're setting yourself, right now we're talking about getting things in spiritual order, setting your spirit. straight and getting your heart right with God, with fasting towards something, the first thing that we need to be thinking is, God, how can you use me to help someone else this year? What's a group of people? Maybe for some of you it's just your family, and that's awesome. Maybe it's a group of friends, or maybe it's people that you work with, or business contacts, or maybe you are in ministry. Who is it that you can influence in your life and really help somebody else experience the freedom that you've experienced in God? And that's what you see in the first couple of verses there. And what I love is he uses, we see words like, sharing and helping people and looking out for other people, and being, it talks about one word is see, seeing and being aware of what others are going through. That's the fasting towards something. It's fasting on purpose. Again, not just doing without food, but actually doing this for a reason, because you're saying, God, I'm working to get in alignment with your will, and I want to know I want to know, God, what is it that you want from me this year? How can I best serve you this year? Because really, if you want your best year that you're ever going to have, it starts with that question, God, how can I fulfill your will for me in my life? And what I love is it's an if-then promise. And so if you'll continue to skip down, he's saying, if you do all this, and if you fast on purpose and with the purpose of helping others, then he's saying, then the light is going to break through. Then when you pray, when you come to me, when you call on my name, I'm going to hear you and I'm going to help you. And I just think it's so powerful that God is so predictable in this sense, that he wants you to focus on him first, align yourself with his will, and his will is for you to help others, to use your skills, your giftings, your talents, your passions, to help other people. And then you get blessed as a result. And that's how you live with purpose. That's how you're going to have an amazing year. And in the context of fasting, fast towards something. And in addition to writing it out, I encourage you to write it out on paper, what you're going to fast from. But just as important to that, I want you to put a line under that and say, I'm fasting towards or for these reasons. Maybe you want to see your family saved. Maybe you want to see your work friends saved, or coworkers, or maybe it's for healing in somebody else's life, or maybe it's for your finances so that you can be a better steward. Fast towards something, and fast on purpose. Don't just starve yourself. Fast for a reason, for the reason that God would lead you to, and I'd ask you to pray about that as well. Well, hey, listen, that's it for me. I hope that didn't run too long for you. We're going to just be talking about 30 thoughts in 30 days on ThinkKnowLive.Media. It's the way I'm just challenging myself to do exactly what we're talking about today. I'm fasting towards something. This is for a purpose. I want to help you. We want to help you at ThinkKnowLive.Media do 3 things. We want you to clearly think about what it is you believe, why you believe it. We want you to know what it is you believe, and we believe that's through the Word of God. And then we want you to fully live that out in a practical, real and living way, in real life and in real time. But hey, God bless you. Y'all have a great one. We'll see you next time.